Hello, 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 hello. Hey, this is Warren Redlick. We're going to talk about Tesla, of course. We're going to talk about SpaceX. We're going to talk about XAI. Lot to talk about in this live stream. We're going to go about an hour. Of course, I got my friend Elon here watching to make sure I don't screw up. Just really quick about Tesla stock. We closed the week at $433 a share. Some people complain, oh, it's down. Some people say, oh, it's great, it's up. The simple reality is over the past year, 1 year run, Tesla stock is up 65%. If you go 5 years, it's up over 200%. You can go out to the all-time high and say, oh, it's down from its all-time high. I'm going to tell you, most stocks are down from their all-time high. Very few stocks stay at their all-time high. So, the stock's doing okay. I don't have predictions for what the stock's going to do over the next few months. I think long term, you get into 2026, I think we're going to see the stock go up substantially. But, predicting stocks is rough. And we're going to talk about Q3 a little bit, the Q3 earnings call. But if you missed it, I did a live stream a couple days ago, and I put a link in the description below. You can go to my channel. This is on YouTube. I put a link in the description below. If you're watching this on X, you check out my videos. I covered it on X as well. They post my live streams on X after I finish. So anyway, the good news with the stock. And we're going to talk about Elon's robot army a little bit. So Elon, Tesla is planning to ramp up robots at really substantial scale. So let me give you a listen to this.
Well, like I said, we'll have a production intent prototype ready to show off in Q1, probably February or March. We're going to be building a million unit Optimus production line, hopefully with a production start towards the end of next year. That production ramp will take a while to get to annualized rate of 1 million, because it's going to move as fast as the slowest, dumbest, least lucky thing out of 10,000 unique items.
So what I hear from Elon is by the end of 2026 or close to the end of 2026, the Optimus line will start production. The line they're building will be capable of producing 1 million units a year, but it will not scale to 1 million units a year in 2026. Maybe by the end of 2027, maybe not, they will be at a 1 million unit a year run rate. That's the start. And there's when you're manufacturing a complex object and there's 10,000 steps, there's, as you get going, one of the steps will be the biggest problem, and you'll solve that. And then the next step is the biggest problem. And you have to iron all these steps out to get your manufacturing dialed in to be able to produce at full volume. Not to mention the supply chain challenges of getting all your supplies in to manufacture robots at this scale. Keep in mind, 1 million robots is a lot easier than 2 million cars, because the robots have a lot less material in them. From a supply chain perspective, they're easier. So, okay. So, keep going on the clip.
We'll get to 1 million units. Ultimately, we'll do Optimus 4. That'll be 10 million units.
Sorry, I muted myself. Sorry. So high level production quality here. Elon said that V3, the upcoming V3 version of Optimus will produce start production the end of 2026, get to high volume by the end of probably by the end of 2027, maybe into 2028. The V4 version of Optimus, he didn't say, but it sounds like end of 2028, you would start seeing V4 Optimus go into production. That will scale to 10 million robots a year, maybe end of 2029, probably before the end of 2030. And then we get more.
Optimus 5, maybe 50 to 100 million units. I mean, it's really pretty nutty.
So Optimus V5 will scale to 150 to 100 million units. And I think people kind of struggle with that. But if Optimus is doing equivalent work to a human, and there's 8 billion humans on the planet, and you make I think one way to put it is, everyone's going to want their own Optimus. Well, there's 8 billion people on the planet. There might be 9 billion by the time we get there. The peak population may be closer to 9 billion, but let's say 8 billion people. Each one wants a robot on average. Some people get none. Some people get 5. If you hit 100 million robots a year, it takes you 80 years to get to 8 billion. And, we're going to need robots in space. We're going to need robots in a lot of other uses. I think the biggest use case might be Optimus in deploying solar farms. We'll see. Distant Sight says Tesla is currently building its Optimus humanoid robots in Fremont, California, at the existing Fremont factory where a pilot production line is established. Company plans to scale in Austin. I haven't heard those details. I'm not sure about that. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just don't know. Horglass says, Warren, when will Optimus drive a van and go door-to-door deliveries? I believe Optimus will be capable at some point of driving vehicles, but it won't. Just because it is capable of it doesn't mean it will. It will ride in vans. It'll ride in Cybercab. Cybercab has storage in the back. I think that's a perfect use case for Optimus and Cybercab is the equivalent of Uber Eats or Grab Food. You want to order something to eat? Cybercab with an Optimus in it goes to the restaurant, picks up the food, goes to another restaurant, picks up food, drives around, delivers, 5 different meals or, delivers packages from Home Depot or Amazon, whatever. And, Optimus gets out of the car and delivers the package to the door. It seems pretty straightforward. Okay, there's a little bit more of the clip.
That I just don't feel comfortable building a robot army here, being ousted because of some asinine recommendations from ISS and Glass Lewis who have no.
So this comes to what we need to talk about early in the video, which is the shareholder vote. Tesla is going to have a shareholder vote. I think voting's already started, right? We have the shareholder meeting coming up. I've already voted. The board has made its recommendations. If you're not sure how to vote, go look at Alexandra Mertz. I think it's her Stiller Pin post on X, Tesla Boomer Mama, and she has her recommended vote. I don't agree with her on XAI. There's one vote about whether Tesla should invest in XAI. I abstained from that one. I didn't vote yes or no. I don't think Tesla should invest in XAI, but a lot of people think they should. So, but just look at what I voted basically Alexander's recommendations except for that one. How many Optimus robots in the first wave to Mars? So I don't think the first wave to Mars will be in 2026. There's a chance that we send rockets in 2026. If it does, I don't think we'll have meaningful numbers of Optimus on that ship. 2028? I don't know, 1,000? 100? I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of work to do for Optimus on Mars surface to prepare for humans in 2031. So I think it may be a large volume of Optimus in that trip. Seems Tesla's hand problem is an industry issue as well. WSJ had a good article. WSJ never has good articles on any issue. Tesla doesn't have a hand problem. They have an excellent hand for Optimus. I've been watching a lot of videos of supposedly great Chinese robots, figures robot, other robots. Nobody has a hand like what Tesla had. Nobody has a hand as good as the current hand on Tesla Optimus, which is V2.5, and the V3 Optimus hand is going to be even better. So I think we're good there. Yeah, you could also order Optimus to come to your house to do work, and maybe Cybercab delivers Optimus so that Optimus can do yard work or whatever it is that you need. But I think that's down. I think the home use of Optimus, the personal use of Optimus, is probably several years down the road. I don't think that's in the first couple of waves. The first couple of waves are going to be industrial use, commercial use. Rigger has tiny hands problem. I like that. Okay, so speaking about the shareholder vote, and I would encourage people, please vote for Elon's compensation package. Brett Winton from ARK Invest was posting about this. Was talking to a sell-side analyst. The analyst said, "Robotaxi, meh, but I really think the humanoid robot story is what's promising here." And he's like, "Can you math? On a first-order estimate, I think Tesla will need to throw $100 to $200 billion into AI compute in order to solve humanoid robot commercialization, and it'll be great money spent." I don't know if he's that far off. It's going to be a lot of compute. It depends on what you're trying to do. If you're just having robots do simple tasks, I don't know if you need to throw $200 billion into it. But if you want robots to develop a generalized intelligence and a real understanding of the real world, which a world model, that's going to require a lot. And we'll talk about that later in this video, in this live stream. But Robotaxi should kick off plenty of cash flow to fund it. It'll be so tempting institutions to just take that cash flow and pocket it. There's a reason that ISS doesn't want to cede additional control to Elon Musk. They're worried he actually might spend the money to make Optimus work. They'd be fine with an ongoing semi-inexpensive science project, a story dancing on the horizon of reality, while they can collect rent on the robotaxi platform. Wall Street loves the version of Apple that doesn't take big swings. But it will take extreme grit, dedication, and capital to make Optimus really work, not for the faint of heart. This is why we need Elon. You need. I'm a big believer in founder CEOs. I think when Jeff Bezos was at Amazon, I was invested in Amazon. I think Palmer Luckey at Anduril. I think Alex Karp at Palantir. That concept of like the founder CEO who really who can make the big moves. Mark Zuckerberg at Facebook. I'm not as impressed with Zuckerberg anymore, but the ability to say we need to make this big swing. If you don't have that founder CEO who's got that pull and got that power, you don't get the same aggressive moves and the bold takes. I think with Meta, you get the aggressive moves, but they're not bold and they don't really go in the right direction. He doesn't have the vision that Elon has. He doesn't have the vision that Palmer Luckey or Alex Karp have. Without Elon Musk, Tesla would almost inevitably become faint of heart. There's a pretty small execution window here, and Tesla shareholders in the world need Elon to maximally push. You either want sustainable abundance and all the fruits that ripen in the future, or you sit back, sated to sup from a dominant robotaxi strategic platform's teeth. So Brett is already like, look, robotaxi solved. Robotaxi is going to make massive, spin off massive cash, but Tesla needs to go for Optimus too, and Optimus is like 10x robotaxi. I think we all agree. Those of us who follow it all agree on that. I can say with some certainty that institutional shareholders would happily opt for the latter. The cash flow in hand is too big to forego. Return on invested capital be damned. Our future really does depend on the will of the individual holder. If you want the future that we all deserve, then you double down on Elon driving Tesla forward. Vote for Elon's compensation package. If you haven't voted yet, please vote. If you don't know how to vote, again, check with Alexandra. This is Yoon Tasai. He is one of the engineers on the Tesla Autopilot team, I think. And I see him a lot. I think he follows me. I get whenever anybody from Tesla likes one of my posts, especially Elon, obviously, but not just Elon. I get excited. Occasionally, people from not Yoon, but occasionally people like message me, say, "Hey, here's what's going on," and I, don't keep this quiet, so I don't tell you guys what I hear. It doesn't happen very often, and I, generally won't report what people tell me unless there's a reason to. Tesla is a very unique way to incubate leaderships. Because we are deeply mission-oriented, each one of us really care what we work on. You often see people organically organized, assigning tasks and taking on initiatives. More motivated employees would carry the balls all the way to the finish line, picking up tasks that are falling behind. They eventually become the natural leaders that can weather extreme heat and cold. They do this not for the performance package or like to be called tech lead. They do it because they care. And related to this, if you don't follow him, follow Ryan Tanaka, Neuropod on X on YouTube. He talks about, sometimes he talks about, because he was an intern at Tesla. When you have a team of A players, they motivate each other. When you have a team with like a couple A players and some B players and some C players, the C players really demotivate everybody. The B players don't get anybody going. But if you're an A player and you're surrounded by A players, you get motivated, and it's like 10x is the performance. And Elon builds that kind of team by giving a mission, and only people who really want the mission will come, and you're going to get A grade people. Jim Whitehead says, I predicted years ago driverless cars would take longer than even Elon predicted. Elon is at 14 kids at my last count. I don't know if it's 14. I don't know. Farzad. We'll talk about Farzad. We'll play with Farzad later. So anyway, a lot of pump. Now, here's the dangerous one. Jim Cramer says, don't be small-minded. Tesla's about robots, full self-driving the future. Give him his package. Is this a curse? Is this the Cramer curse? People have asked me, Warren, what would you do if the package was voted down? Now, I think I want to be clear. I think the package is very likely to be passed. I would encourage you, please vote to make sure it happens. It typically passes by 70+%, and this time Elon gets to vote, and Elon has like 14%, so that it should pass by a very clear margin. But you just don't know, like the retail. I'm very confident retail investors are going to vote yes, by a large margin. You'll get some cranks who'll say no or they're voting no, but they end up being people who either hold no stock or not much. But the people who are holding a lot of Tesla stock believe in Elon. Like I don't understand people who I see people who say they own a lot of Tesla stock and Elon's a bad guy. Why are you owning stock in a company where you think the CEO is a bad person? Like, wouldn't you want to invest in companies where you believe in the CEO? I mean, especially Tesla, where Elon is like such an important figure. John Jacob says Optimus is already losing ground. Losing ground to who? No one's going anywhere. There's no one has made any ground in humanoid robots. There's a few companies that have a few robots that'll walk around or do some kind of little dance. Nobody has made a useful humanoid robot yet. And what you need, just really touching on this point, since I'm guessing John Jacobs is trolling, but what you need in order to have a successful humanoid robot is you need to have a great hand. Okay, a very, very complicated, very, very capable hand, and no one has it. Tesla has it, no one else. You need to have a great brain. Tesla has by far the best brain in the humanoid robot industry. And then you need the ability to manufacture at scale. Tesla has all three. I don't think anybody else has one. Now, Hyundai has the ability to manufacture at scale, and they own Boston Dynamics. They don't have a brain. They don't have a hand. Do I think somebody will be able to block the vote through the courts again? No, I don't think so. I don't think that's an issue, and that wouldn't bother me I wouldn't like it, but that wouldn't affect my interest in holding the stock. Figure has inductive feet charging. It seems more elegant than Tesla charging by ported up. You can have all kinds of elegant things. Does it make the robot work better? Does it save you money? Is it easier to manufacture at scale? You can do all kinds of things to make yourself sound smart. You can put a tether on Optimus and don't need to charge either. It's just silly. Or pictures of Optimus 2.5 with mannequin hands in place of working with it. There's also video of Optimus catching a tennis ball with a working hand. Any update on Apple potentially interlinking Starlink into phone 18? It already works. It already works on iPhone. Is there a good chance Elon just go aggressive, buy another $1 billion worth of Tesla next week? I don't think so. I think it's you had to own the stock at a certain point in time. If he bought new stock now, he wouldn't be able to vote it. Okay. So the ex-Stellantis CEO, I forget his name. Nobody knew his name. Carlos Tavares says Tesla could exit the car industry, may not exist in 10 years. Tesla stock market value loss will be colossal. Elon CSC has absolutely no clue. I just find this hilarious. That this guy from Stellantis, and what I think I read in the article, he's saying, well, the Chinese EVs are gonna, outcompete Tesla. Like, well, they're gonna outcompete you. They're gonna outcompete this. This is I beat this horse for a long time, but BYD is not Tesla's competition. BYD, Tesla, the Chinese EV companies, etc., are working together to defeat gasoline cars. Let's get gasoline cars off the road. Let's clean our air. Let's make life more efficient for everybody. That's what's happening. So if you run a gas car company and you think that BYD is going to eat Tesla's lunch, you eat your lunch first. And who does BYD really compete with? They compete with lower costs, lower non-premium customers, non-premium brands. Tesla's a premium brand. So Toyota has a risk. Volkswagen has a risk. Those are the ones that really face competition from the Chinese EVs. Yeah, anyway, so just wanted to cover that. Then, of course, our good friend Barry Black, some people call him Gary Black, I don't know why they call him that, says Tesla has no marketing, so by definition can't ever pass Apple in market cap. What definition is that? Which dictionary do I find that definition? I missed that definition. Then Apple in market cap, which has great products and great marketing. Great products. I mean, I looked at the iPhone 17. I have the iPhone 14 here. iPhone 14 here. How is the iPhone 17 meaningfully better than my iPhone 14 Pro? The iPhone 17 Pro, iPhone 14 Pro. I like, why would I buy this? Because it's new? Like, what's the great thing about the new product? Apple's not innovating. And Tesla does have great marketing. It's called word of mouth. People, butts and seats. You get a Tesla, you love it, you show it to your friends. Your friends, wow, that's pretty cool. You sell it to enough, show it to enough friends, some of them buy it. Consumer products like FSD and Optimus don't just sell themselves. Tesla sold 500,000 EVs in the last quarter with no marketing. Tesla sold 500,000 EVs in Q3 with no marketing, and Gary Black says they don't sell themselves. Tesla products don't sell themselves. Okay. Barry Black for you, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, also on Tesla, I wanted to touch on this. So a guy named Joe Lonsdale, and this is an article from Joe Lonsdale, who's like a prominent investor type guy. And I'm going to go through this. Let me show you what he said first, and then we'll go through my thing. So he's talking about tiers of the AI industry. And you can see tier 0 is energy infrastructure. Tier 1 is chips. Tier 2 is data centers. Tier 3 is foundation model companies. Tier 4 is software infrastructure, and Tier 5 is AI native applications and services. Tesla is at every tier. Tesla is not just at every tier. Tesla is doing massively important stuff at every one of these tiers. Tesla covers the entire stack of AI. Okay, energy infrastructure, we got Megapack, which is critical for AI data centers. You got solar that they just came out with a new solar product that they're working on, Gigatech, Gigabuffalo. I think Tesla's going to deploy massive solar soon. They got Powerwall. Megapack is accelerating its advance into not just being an energy storage device, but having the infrastructure to help integrate with the grid. So energy infrastructure, chips. You got the AI, the hardware 3 chip, the AI 4 chip, the AI 5 chip, the AI 6 chip coming. We had Dojo. We don't have Dojo anymore, but they've got multiple chips lined up. Two we know about. Two we know that are in the real world already. Two that are coming. So Tesla does chips. Data centers. You've got Cortex and Cortex 2. And I think there's one in Palo Alto as well. So Tesla has AI data centers, right? For foundation model companies. Tesla has a foundation model. It's a different foundation model from all the chatbot AIs. We call them LLMs or multimodal models, but Grok, ChatGPT, Gemini, Anthropic, Perplexity, those are all text-based AI foundation models. Tesla has a completely different foundation model that's based on real-world data, which is an edge, as we'll see later in this video. Because that's another thing that's coming later in this live stream. And software infrastructure, Tesla has all this software infrastructure behind their AI. And then AI native applications and services. You've got Robotaxi, you've got FSD, you've got Optimus coming. Tesla covers it all. So if you want to invest in AI, Tesla gets you at every level. Spectacular reason to invest in Tesla. Okay, we're moving on to our next thing, and we've gone from Elon has left the building, and we now have Optimus as my buddy for this next portion of the video. So Jan LeCun, Jan LeCun, AI expert, widely recognized as an AI expert. He's the man. I think he developed convolutional neural networks a couple decades ago. Blocked me on X, so I have an honor. He's blocked me on X. Jan LeCun. So I'll show you this in the thread down below, but there's this video of him talking about it. He's saying all these AI, large language models can't run robots. And his direct critique, I'm going to show you this in the next slide as well. Direct critique of relying on LLMs for robotics. The real breakthrough needed is world models, systems that learn physics and common sense from high bandwidth video, not just text. Tesla AI learns from high bandwidth video. It doesn't really learn from text. So, and here's the full quote. Real breakthrough needed is world models, systems that learn physics and common sense from high bandwidth video, not text. Sets a large, sharp contrast between his academic timeline and the bullish next year claims from companies like Figure. So Figure is relying on, we're going to talk about this later, but they're relying on like the theory that OpenAI's, ChatGPT is going to run your robot. That's not the way to run a robot. Tesla's got the way to run a robot. Tesla uses real world AI. Huge difference. There's this article in Forbes magazine that's, if Forbes website, whatever, I don't know if there's still a magazine. The National Highway Transportation Safety Administration is probing Tesla's Mad Max mode. The FSD now has a Mad Max mode that makes it more aggressive. Over concerns it allows vehicles to operate at higher speeds above posted speed limits. Elon responded, it's not really like Mad Max, it's just a joke. But operate at higher speeds above posted speed limits. Really? Like, I had cruise control on a Chevy Chevette in 1987. And I could set the cruise control above the posted speed limit. Like, are they going to say that cruise control can't be set above the posted speed limit? This is ridiculous. Why would anyone? I'm very cantankerous on X, Gavin. Jason Calacanis has blocked me. Mark, I don't know. I have no idea why Mark Anderson blocked me. Craig asks if any idea if new factories are on the horizon, Mexico, India, also any idea of Tesla South America sales. I think Tesla only sells in one market in South America, maybe Chile. They talked about factories in the Q3 call, so please check out my video on the Q3 call. If you're on YouTube, it's a link in the description below. If you're on X, I guess I should repost it. But they talked about that, and basically they're going to try to ramp the existing factories to get to close to 3 million units a year, and they're going to ramp Cybercab. And Elon did mention, we'll have to do incremental factories after that. I think you're going to see For example, Cybercab in China after Cybercab in the US. You're going to see Optimus factories in multiple places. 14.4 says, my disappointment with FSD 14 is the apparent loss of setting how fast my car can exceed the speed limit. That's because you're not better at making that decision than FSD is. You think you're better at making that decision than FSD is, but you're not. Choose Mad Max if you want to go fast. Choose chill if you want to go slow. The car will decide what speed is appropriate. It doesn't need your help on that. So, BYD is having serious problems with its factory in South America. Not to worry about that. Is some dumb regulator scared? Yes, who knows? Okay, so we did that. Just a random Tesla hater, Elon hater, Matthew Battle says hardware 3 will never be driverless. Ashok says he might be. Neither will hardware 4 nor hardware 5 if it's still a camera-only system. Tesla isn't giving up on hardware 3, blah, blah, blah. And we all know you can't drive a car without LiDAR and radar. Like, when I drive my car, I have lasers shooting out of my eyes, and I have, like, radar dishes on the back of my head so I can drive. If humans can drive on vision only, cars can drive on vision only. The issue isn't the sensor suite. The issue is the brain. Do you have an adequate brain? Do you have and is the brain adequately trained to handle all the things that are going to happen? Throwing LiDAR on your car doesn't help when a spaceship lands from the sky. I just saw a video. This actually happened. A Tesla on FSD was driving, and a plane crash landed, crossing the roadway as it crash landed. I think the pilot survived. I don't think it was a fatal crash or anything like that, but right in front of a Tesla, and the Tesla slowed down. Now, if you had LiDAR, would the brain in the car know what to do with the signal? That's the challenge. And we're going to talk about the signal. We have a big thing from Ashok coming up. Ashok, tell us, Elaswamy. 14.4 says, no, you are wrong, Warren. Does FSD know how fast is too fast as compared to the police? No, you are wrong. FSD knows how fast to drive. If you don't trust it, if you think it's going to drive too fast, then don't put it in Mad Max mode. Put it in chill mode. It won't drive too fast. It's that simple. You can't put it in Mad Max mode and then limit the speed to the speed limit. It doesn't work. You don't like it?
We'll be adding
So, sorry, Elon talked about reasoning. We're going to talk about that next.
We'll be adding reasoning to, I don't know, Ashok, is that like reasoning in like 14.3, maybe 14.4, something like that?
Yeah, 3 or 4, by end of this year for sure.
Yeah. So
by the end of this year for sure, this is not Elon, this is the head of the autopilot team, Ashok, saying they will be adding reasoning into the car by the end of the year. And Elon explains an example, not the only example, of what that might mean.
With reasoning, it's literally going to think about which parking spot to pick. So it's going to say, this is the entrance, but actually probably there's not a parking spot right at the entrance. If it's a full, if the parking lot is fairly full, the probability of an open parking spot right at the entrance is very low. But actually what it'll simply do is drop you off at the entrance of the store and then go find a parking spot. But it's going to get very smart about figuring out a parking spot. It's going to it's going to spot empty spots much better than a human. It's got 360-degree vision. And it's going to, like I said, just, it's going to use reasoning to solve things.
There have been some clips of like the Tesla's pulled up at a light and the pickup truck in front of it puts its backup lights on and starts backing up. And the Tesla FSD backs up to let that car back up. That car goes across a couple lanes to go where it's going. And then the Tesla resumes along its way. Ashok did this video, and I would encourage people to watch it. I'm going to give you bits from Ashok in a minute. Where there's chickens crossing the road. Literally chickens crossing the road. Why did the chicken cross the road? I assumed they were going to make some joke about reasoning being why did the chicken cross the road. But anyway, chickens are crossing the road, and the last chicken doesn't cross. And FSD waits for the car. There's a car coming the other way. They both wait for the chicken to cross the road. So why didn't the chicken cross the road? First, why did the chicken cross the road? Why did the chicken wait to cross the road? And then there's another clip where there's geese, and the geese won't move. And the car figures out the geese aren't moving, and it goes around them. It's reasoning. It's thinking, what can I do about this? How do I decide what to do? And as It builds a better word model. It'll understand the world better and it'll make better decisions. There's actually a brain inside this car. So there's a little bit more here.
And putting that all inside the computer that has AI4 is the actual challenge. And that's what the team is working on. Because obviously you can do reasoning on the server that takes forever, but then in the car, you need to make real-time decisions. So putting all that into the computer that's in the car, that's the challenge.
So I want to hit this point. I'm going to hit this again later in the live stream. The reasoning has to be done in the car. And we'll talk more about this, but this is why Grok is not going to be driving the car. Not going to be driving the car. Grok is not going to be driving the Optimus. Grok is not doing the reasoning. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the challenge that Ashok talked about at the end there was squeezing all this performance into the AI4 chip. The AI5 chip is coming, but it's not coming yet. So they're trying to get as much out of the AI4 chip as they can. And I didn't include the clip in this video, but Ashok did say, I think next spring, after they feel like they've completely solved or sufficiently solved FSD 14 on the AI4 hardware, they're going to make an FSD 14 Lite for hardware 3. See if they can get self-driving working on hardware 3. And I know people, oh no, it's not powerful enough. Let's let Ashok figure that out. And I'm a hardware 3 owner. So 4D strip chest, is that right? Okay, so Ashok did a presentation. Ashok did a presentation, and you can look for it on X. This is Ashok's account, but just to search for Ashok Elaswamy, you'll find his presentation. But I'll just go to his account, and you can see this text-based description of what he talked about in the presentation. Some people are better watching video. Some people are better reading from text. I do both. But he had the pleasure of presenting at the Tesla AI team at the International Conference of Computer Vision, and this is the abridged version of the talk. Safely operating the real world requires high frame rate, high resolution, long context inputs to be processed. Sounds like what John LeCun said, right? High bandwidth video. So he talks about input token size of a 5x5 pixel patch, 7 cameras, 36 frames per second. Goes through the numbers. And he says this amounts to around 2 billion input tokens. The neural network needs to learn the correct causal mapping that reduces these 2 billion tokens down to 2 tokens. The next steering, left, right, accelerate, brake, maintain speed, go straight, whatever. Left, right, straight, accelerate, brake, steady speed, and gradations of those. So think about that challenge. You got 2 billion inputs coming in, you got to have 2 outputs out, and you got to do it in 50 milliseconds, 30 milliseconds. Learning the correct cause at 36 hertz, that's probably like 30 milliseconds. Learning the correct causation for this without learning spurious correlations is an extremely tricky problem. Another key detail, reasoning came up again, and let me make this bigger. This chart. So you have all the input and then the next action, steering and brakes, right? But they also have these other details they can get out of the model that help them understand what the model's doing, that helps them figure out how to train the model, helps establish what reasoning is the model using. So they're in the video he shows, they ask the model questions, why did you do this? And the model actually answers. It's pretty cool. So he calls it intermediate tokens, that you can have the model generate intermediate tokens to figure out what's happening. Let me see if we missed anything there. He talks about Gaussian splatter. I don't get into that. It's a visualization. That's in the video. That's better in the video than it is in the text. The last most difficult challenge is the evaluation, even with a high quality data set. So they're using simulation. And Tesla has like high level simulation, indistinguishable from real video. And so they're using that. And the simulator is trained on the same massive data set we've curated. They're able to do things with it. And then the great thing is that you can use all this learning and apply it to Optimus. And here's Optimus walking down hallways using the same video generation models that Optimus uses navigating the Tesla Gigafactory. I think people are underestimating how important it is that Tesla is developing this AI the way they're developing the AI. Okay, so how are we doing on time? Oh, there we go. All right, now we got Lord Farquaad. Lord Farquaad. This is making fun of Farzad Mesbahi, who is another Tesla content creator, who is obsessed with Tesla putting steering wheels on Cybercab, and they're not gonna put steering wheel on Cybercab. So, stepping away from Tesla for a minute, somebody, I don't know, got Elon interested in the topic of Chinese rockets. So there are Chinese rocket companies that are working on launching for reusable rockets. And this guy, PLA Overwhelm, talks about it like, oh, they've already caught up to Falcon 9. Like, well, they haven't landed one yet. Elon says they have added aspects of Starship, such as use of stainless steel and methalox to a Falcon 9 architecture, which would enable it to beat Falcon 9, but Starship's in another league. And this guy overreacted and said, breaking, Elon admits China is about to launch the rocket, already outperforming SpaceX's Falcon 9 on multiple key metrics. He didn't say that. Elon said if they're lucky, it might outperform Falcon in 5 years, by which time SpaceX will be launching Starship. Don't forget, Falcon 9's first orbital rocket booster landing on a successful launch was December 21, 2015, almost 10 years ago. So the idea that somebody's going to get their first launch up and they're going to be better than Falcon 9 on their first launch, it's a little optimistic. It's going to take them a while to dial in everything that they're trying to do. It's good. We want other companies to succeed and launch, do reusable rockets, but don't get ahead of yourself there, kid. Don't get cocky, kid. So, Petrin says not from day one. Once it's fully operationalized, it has potential to do so, but a number of years away. Elon says it will take them over 5 years to reach Falcon 9 levels of reliability and production launch rate, by which time SpaceX will have transitioned to Starship and will be doing over 100 times the annual payload to orbit of Falcon. A reminder that rapid evolution of this is the guy you want leading your company. This is why you're voting yes on the pay package. A reminder that rapid evolution of technology is the only way to win. Those who do not innovate rapidly are doomed to fail. The next Starship launches version 3, which is radically better than version 2, and then in a few years, so now we know V4 of Starship is a few years away, will double the payload of V3. So we're in 2025 now. This year we'll see Starship V3 launch. A few years away, 2028 maybe, 2029. We're going to see a next generation Starship that has doubled the payload. That is going to be the vehicle that takes humans to Mars. That is the vehicle that's going to get, put the payloads in orbit that get humans to Mars. I don't think Farzad is high, no. I think Farzad is caught a large Farquaad character, which, what did I do? All right. So, other news, Starlink is making massive improvement. Again, another Elon company innovating rapidly. What have they done? Median peak hour network-wide speeds increasing by over 50%. Typical download speeds are now over 200 megabits per second. Typical upload speeds are over 30 megabits per second. Just for reference, for me to live stream, ideally I have 20 megabits per second upload speed. Often I do it on 10 and I get by. But if you ever see that the video quality gets poor on my live streams, it's probably that there was a problem with the upload speed. We have Wi-Fi problems at home sometimes, whatever. You should have 100 megabits per second upload speed or something like that, or 300 megabits per second upload speed, but we end up with, sometimes it's low. So having typical upload speeds over 30 megabits per second means you can stream. And median global latency is around 26 milliseconds. That's 40 hertz, 40 times a second. Not bad. And it's, it's an upward slope. It's going to get better. And you're going to start seeing V3 satellites, once Starship is launching satellites on a regular basis, you're going to see the next generation Starlink satellites, which are, 3 or 4 times the size, newer generation technology, massive increase in capability. Elon is not single-handedly taking us into the future. He's single-handedly leading us into the future. He builds great teams that take us into the future, and Elon leads the teams. Orbcom 2 mission. Yes, Mark. Never forget Orbcom 2. Another kind of interesting topic that came up, and I'm working on a video about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is talking about H100 powered satellite bringing sustainable high-performance computing beyond Earth. Semi-analysis thinks that this is a problem because you have to radiate heat. And James Downma, we've got more coming on this thread, asks Grok how much area does a black body radiator require to dissipate 130 kilowatts given a surface temperature of 60 degrees Celsius. Grok gives some numbers. James Douma says, how much area would I need if I used a heat pump to raise the temperature of the radiator to 120 degrees Celsius? Get some more answers. And Elon points out, radiative cooling rising as T to the fourth really favors higher operating temperatures. Ultimately, solar-powered AI satellites are the only way to achieve a Kardashev 2 civilization. Kardashev 1 is using all the energy that falls on your planet, that you have on your planet. Kardashev 2 is using all the energy in your solar system. Kardashev 3 is using all the energy of a galaxy. We're a long way from even Kardashev 2. But the solution is basically filling the orbits around the sun with solar panels, powering AI data centers to generate massive artificial intelligence, massive, artificial superintelligence. Okay. And then quick note about XAI, again, move fast, right? Elon says, so there's someone from XAI says, proud of the Companion and Imagine team. We didn't have any usable video gen models 3 months ago, and most efforts started 3 months ago. XAI is moving faster than any other AI company. In the end, victory is a function of speed. If you want Tesla to innovate at high speed, to develop Robotaxi, to develop Optimus, to develop Tesla Energy, all the other things that we want to see, we need Elon as the leader. So, and then
that Tesla and XAI complementary, or are they just different forms of AI?
Yeah, they are different forms of AI.
This is a question about, because Elon is on the one hand leading the XAI team developing Grok. On the other hand, he's leading the Tesla AI team developing Tesla AI, and Elon says they're different. So listen to this.
Grok is like a giant model that you could not possibly squeeze Grok onto a car. That's for sure. It is a giant beast of a model.
So this is a critical point because I keep hearing people telling me, no, Grok is going to be the brain of Optimus. Grok is the brain of the car. No, Grok is an assistant to the brain in the car. Grok is too big to fit in the car. You can't have your car run by something that's in a server cloud and you've got massive latency getting information back and forth. Tesla AI team is developing the AI that's going to run the car, and Grok will assist. More on this.
With Grok, it's trying to solve for artificial general intelligence with a massive amount of AI training compute and inference compute. For example, for Grok 5 will actually only run effectively on a GB300. Whereas Tesla's
GB300 is an NVIDIA AI hardware platform. The industry standard right now is the NVIDIA H100. The Blackwell B200 is coming, or maybe they may already be shipping the Blackwell B200, and now the GB300 is either almost here or here. And Grok is so powerful that it needs to be on the latest version of hardware. The chips in the cars aren't even as good as the H100 in terms of their ability to handle that kind of model. They're good in their own way. So you're not going to have Grok running you're not going to have Grok running natively in Optimus. It's going to be connecting to the cloud in order to do its function.
Models are, I don't know, maybe about less than 10% the size, maybe closer to 5% the size of Grok. They're really coming at the problem from very different angles. So some of it's complementary. I mean, for example, for Grok Voice, being able to interact with Grok in the car is cool. Grok for Optimus voice recognition and voice generation is Grok, so that's helpful there. But they are coming at it from kind of opposite ends of the spectrum.
Opposite ends of the spectrum. So I think that covered that point. I just wanted to hit that detail because I keep hearing people telling me, no, Grok is going to be the brains of Optimus. No. Tesla AI team is developing the brains for Optimus, which needs to be able to act in real time and needs to be able to run on small hardware. Gavin says it's amazing how YouTubers are using Grok these days as an authority source. Yeah, I use Grok a lot, but I don't think you can rely on Grok without checking its sources. Where did it get its information from? V4 will go to Mars without humans, but definitely with Optimus. I think V4 Starship will go to Mars with humans in 2031 or 2033. I think Starship V3 will go to Mars potentially. So the going to Mars question is this. The going to Mars question is this. By 2026, okay, so we've got Starship. We're towards the end of 2025. I think the launch window to go to Mars is the end of 26, so we have 1 year. So can they demonstrate propellant refilling in orbit? Because if they can ramp up production a little bit, get a few rockets going, and get one to the point where they can fill it with enough fuel and send it to Mars, you could go. I think there's an open question whether they will get enough done to be able to launch to Mars in 2026. If not, 2028 will be running V4, which will be a more powerful rocket. SpaceX Starlink 6G coming, end of cell towers and dead zones. Okay, I don't believe that Starlink is the end. We got Starlink here. Starlink is not the end of cell towers. When you get into cities, densely populated cities, Starlink will not be able to handle the volume of a densely populated city. If you are inside a building, Starlink is not going to work inside the building. So it's not that simple. There's plenty of room. First of all, Starlink can make crazy amounts of money without dominating the entire market. It could be a 10% player in the global market. That's great. Grok is good for voice generation. Argue with Grok and sometimes catch it in blunders. Yeah, Grok makes mistakes. 100%. Mark Plot says there's a launch coming in probably 15 minutes. He probably said that 5 minutes ago. So there's a SpaceX launch. Look in the chat for Mark's link or just go to SpaceX account on X. Okay. So, all right. I am going to wrap this up early tonight because we have to wake up early because we have an appointment early morning. It's almost 10 o'clock here. Our appointment's at 5 a.m. Takes a half hour to get there. So we're going to be getting up at 4 a.m. So we need to get our beauty sleep. Won't work for me, but if my wife's already beautiful no matter what, maybe it'll help her make her a little bit more beautiful. Starlink is making a killing by hooking up ships and aircraft now. I don't know if you call it a killing. Starlink is making progress getting some other contracts, cruise ships, airlines. Elon should be able to allocate extra Tesla cash into the best return he knows about. Batteries in a Tesla can't even power one top-end NVIDIA AI PU, not GPUs anymore, let alone AI processing unit. I like that. Let alone the number needed to run an AI data center running Grok. Well, there's an interesting question about running Tesla's AI chips in the cars as some sort of distributed network of AI for data inference or whatever. Sort of, somebody compared it to the search for extraterrestrial life, having all these computers analyzing data remotely. Meet Kevin said the complete Starlink system for his private jet cost $122,000. Good for Kevin. Which cell phone company should Starlink buy? So I had the theory that Starlink could buy the third tier cell phone provider in every market, and then upgrade that cell phone provider and then make it effectively the number one cell phone provider in a market. Okay. Thanks everybody so much. I'm gonna go get some sleep. We'll talk to y'all soon. I probably will get one more video out this week, and I don't remember whether I think I'll be able to do a live stream next Sunday as well. Traveling. We're in Bangkok right now. So if anybody's in Bangkok wants to connect, pretty busy, but maybe we can make something work out. Thanks everybody. Good night.